Abbreviated, pp. 1. Shortened, reduced in length, abridged. 2. In botany, an abbreviated perianth is shorter than the rube of the coral. Abbreviating, ppr. Shortening, contracting in length or into a smaller compass. Abbreviation, n. 1. The act of shortening or contracting. 2.
A letter or a few letters used for a word, as general for Genesis, U.S.A., for United States of America.
3. The reduction of fractions to the lowest terms. Abbreviator, n. One who abridges or reduces to a smaller compass. Abbreviators, a college of 72 persons in the Chancery of Rome, whose duty is to draw up the Pope's briefs, and reduce petitions, when granted, to a due form for bulls. Abbreviatory, n. Shortening, contracting.
Abbreviature, n. A letter or character for shortening, an abridgment, a compend.
ABC, the three first letters of the alphabet, used for the whole alphabet. Also a little book for teaching the elements of reading. Abdals, n. The name of certain fanatics in Persia, who, in excess of zeal, sometimes run into the streets, and attempt to kill all they meet who are of a different religion, and if they are slain for their madness, they think it meritorious to die, and by the vulgar are deemed martyrs. Abderite, n. An inhabitant of Abdera, a maritime town in Thrace. Democritus is so called, from being a native of the place. As he was given to laughter, foolish or incessant laughter, is called Abderian. Abdicant, a. See abdicate, abdicating, renouncing.
Abdicate, v. T. L. Abdica, abindico, to dedicate, to bestow, but the literal primary sense of dico is to send or thrust.
1. In a general sense, to relinquish, renounce, or abandon. 2. To abandon an office or trust, without a formal resignation to those who conferred it, or without their consent, also to abandon a throne, without a formal surrender of the crown. 3. To relinquish an office before the expiration of the time of service. 4. To reject, to renounce, to abandon as a right. 5. To cast away, to renounce, as to abdicate our mental faculties, unusual. 6. In the civil law, to disclaim a son and expel him from the family, as a father, to disinherit during the life of the father.
Abdicate, v. I. To renounce, to abandon, to cast off, to relinquish, as a right, power, or trust.
Though a king may abdicate for his own person, he cannot abdicate for the monarchy. Abdicated, pp. Renounced, relinquished without a formal resignation, abandoned. Abdicating, ppr. Relinquishing without a formal resignation, abandoning. Abdication, n. 1. The act of abdicating, the abandoning of an office or trust, without a formal surrender, or before the usual or stated time of expiration. 2. A casting off, rejection. Abdicative, a. Causing or implying abdication. Little used.
Abdative, a. L. Abdo, to hide, ab and do, having the power or quality of hiding.
Little used.
Abditory, n. A place for secreting or preserving goods. Abdomen, or abdomen, n. L. Perhaps abdo and omentum.
1. The lower belly or that part of the body which lies between the thorax and the bottom of the pelvis. It is lined with a membrane called peritoneum, and contains the stomach, liver, spleen, pancreas, kidneys, bladder and guts. It is separated from the breast internally by the diaphragm, and externally, by the extremities of the ribs. On its outer surface it is divided into 4 regions, the epigastric, the umbilical, the hypogastric and lumbar. 2. In insects, the lower part of the animal, united to the corselet by a thread. In some species, it is covered with wings, and a case. It is divided into segments and rings, on the sides of which are small spiracles by which the insect respires. Abdominal, A. Pertaining to the lower belly. Abdominal, N. Plu. Abdominals. In ichthyology, the abdominals are a class of fish whose ventral fins are placed behind the pectoral, and which belong to the division of bony fish. The class contains 9 genera: the loach, salmon, pike, argentine, atherin, mullet, flying fish, herring and carp. Abdominal ring, or inguinal ring, an oblong tendinous ring in both groins through which pass the spermatic cord in men, and the round ligaments of the uterus in women. Abdominis, A. Pertaining to the abdomen, having a large belly.
Abdu ce, v, t, l, adduco, to lead away, of abanduco, to lead.
See duke. To draw from, to withdraw, or draw to a different part, used chiefly in anatomy. Abducent, A. Drawing from, pulling back, used of those muscles which pull back certain parts of the body, for separating, opening, or bending them. The abducent muscles, called abductors, are opposed to the adducent muscles or adductors. Abduction, N. 1. In a general sense, the act of drawing apart, or carrying away. 2. In surgery, a species of fracture, in which the broken parts recede from each other. 3. In logic, a kind of argumentation, called by the Greeks epigogy, in which the major is evident, but the minor is not so clear, as not to require farther proof. As in this syllogism, all whom God absolves are free from sin, God absolves all who are in Christ, therefore all who are in Christ are free from sin. 4. In law, the taking and carrying away of a child, a ward, a wife, and either by fraud, persuasion, or open violence. Abductor, N. In anatomy, a muscle which serves to withdraw, or pull back a certain part of the body, as the abductor oculi, which pulls the eye outwards.
Aber, v, t, abari, to bear, to behave.
Obs. Aberrance, N. From aber, now disused from bear, to carry, behavior, demeanor. Little used.
Abecedarian, N. A word formed from the first 4 letters of the alphabet, one who teaches the letters of the alphabet, or a learner of the letters.
Abecedary, A. Pertaining to, or formed by the letters of the alphabet. Abele or able tree, N. An obsolete name of the wild poplar. See poplar. Abelians, Abelonians or Abelites, in church history, a sect in Africa which arose in the reign of Aridius. They married, but lived in continence after the manner, as they pretended, of Abel, and attempted to maintain the sect by adopting the children of others.
Abel mosque, N. A trivial name of a species of hibiscus, or Syrian mallow.
The plant rises on a herbaceous stalk, 3 or 4 feet, sending out 2 or 3 side branches. The seeds have a musky odor, for which reason the Arabians mixed them with coffee. Aberrance, L. Aberrans, abero, to wander from. Of ab and aberrancy, arrow, to wander. A wandering or deviating from the right way, but rarely used in a literal sense. In a figurative sense, a deviation from truth, error, mistake, and in morals, a fault, a deviation from rectitude. Aberrant, A. Wandering, straying from the right way. Rarely used.
Aberration, N. L. Aberratio.
1. The act of wandering from the right way, deviation from truth or moral rectitude, deviation from a straight line. 2. In astronomy, a small apparent motion of the fixed stars, occasioned by the progressive motion of light and the Earth's annual motion in its orbit. By this, they sometimes appear 20 seconds distant from their true situation. 3. In optics, a deviation in the rays of light when inflected by a lens or speculum, by which they are prevented from uniting in the same point. It is occasioned by the figure of the glass, or by the unequal refrangibility of the rays of light. Crown of aberration, a luminous circle surrounding the disk of the sun, depending on the aberration of its rays, by which its apparent diameter is enlarged.